Hey guys, welcome to another clinic session here. I want to give Coach Harvey here as much time as we can. So, just a reminder, as you hop on, you should be hopping on, muted, coming into the session muted. But if we can keep everyone, keep your mics muted throughout this thing, so we can give Coach Harvey the floor, would be great. But with that, Coach Adam Harvey here from defensive coordinator at Steele High School is going to talk some press palms and some covered down stuff. So the floor is all yours, Coach Harvey.
Appreciate you, Coach Samuels. Thanks for having me. Some of you may be wondering what the junk this thing is on my head, and I had to wear it for my man, Coach Samuels, because I had it on at Disney World a couple weeks ago, and you may have saw his tweet or retweet or whatever he did. So I decided to have a little fun, man. We need to laugh during this time for sure. I know you guys in the quarantine are probably as stir crazy as I am. So want to have a little fun with you today, and also just share some things that's worked for us. I was just talking to Coach Samuels, if you're not a press guy, that's fine. I am going to take this off. If you're not a press guy, I get it. At the same time, that's what I'm going to talk about. So some of you may have a lot of questions after this, and please, I'm going to share my contact info here in a second. And by all means, please contact me at any time, because I want this to be an ongoing thing. I don't want to be that guy that is looked at as a presenter and then, kind of figure it out on your own. That's not who I am. So appreciate Football Scoop and this opportunity, and I'm excited about it. So let's get rolling. I'm going to share my screen here with you guys. Coach, can we see it? There we go. We good, Coach Samuels?
Yep, all good.
Perfect, man. Let me all right, good deal. Yeah, so we'll get rolling here. So we are a press 2 cover team out of base, and I'm going to talk about alignment here in a second. I'm going to show you some drills. We're going to kind of run through these drills really fast. So again, if you have questions, please contact me on Twitter. Will probably be the best bet, and I'll share that with you at the end of this thing. We're going to check to 3 quite a bit with Sky and Cloud. We're going to run some quarters. We're also going to run some man, both 0 and 1. And then as everybody teaches, our alignment, assignment, and aggression is a big part of what we teach and a big part of what we demand in our culture. So why cover 2? We feel like we can line up versus many different formations and then continue to stop the run. This is not a pass coverage concept exclusively, guys. This is a run-stopping coverage. And so we want to set the edge with our defensive ends, but we want a hard force coming with our corners. You'll see that on film here in a little while, and that's something that we've built into our kids. It's a mentality, and so that's something that we take pride in. It also eliminates a big play. A press allows no easy releases. I mentioned on a Zoom with Coach Granadetti yesterday or day before, am I afraid of the 9 route? Absolutely not. That's what everybody asks whenever you hear, oh, you're a press guy. Well, what about the 9 route? I think that's a low percentage throw. And so we're gonna try to force guys into low percentage throws. And then on the flip side of that, we're also going to take away the quick passing game with that press look. And so if I'm playing, 6x1, 8x1 off, like a lot of us do, inside or outside leverage, either way, it doesn't really matter with leverage, in my opinion, if you're playing that far off. Now I'm going to give up a lot of quick passing game, the tunnel screen, that kind of thing. And so I want to take that away as well. So both and is kind of what we think will help us with our alignment. Moving on with our corners, we're going to line as close to the line of scrimmage as possible. I tell them 6 inches is kind of your aiming point. And we're going to go head up alignment. So I'm not going to worry so much about leverage when I'm in press palms. There's several reasons for that. I'll go over that some here, and I'll answer some questions at the end about why we do that. But with our head up alignment, we want to have active eyes, and that's part of your cover 2 read, right? So if you're in palms and you want to have good active eyes, you got to know what you're reading, indicator to man, all that good stuff. It's just things that we're going to continue to teach. We're going to reroute with physicality. So even when we're in catch from 3 yards, we can't be as physical as we can be if we're up in somebody's groove. You know what I'm saying? And so, and then, like I said earlier, we want to play force flat. So I do want to go back and talk one more thing that I did not put as a bullet point on here. Back in the day before the college football playoff came about, the BCS was the big deal in college football. And so one of the easiest ways for our kids to remember back when that was kind of a hot topic was to give them that acronym of BCS. So the first thing I'm going to do to get as close as I can to the line of scrimmage or to that receiver is I want to smell his breath. So I want to get as close as I can, smell his breath. Then I want to get in good football posture. So I want good ankle bend, shin angles, all that good stuff, good bend in the knees, flat back, everything that we all teach. So that's going to be my next letter, which is C, core, right? I want to stare through his belly button. So I'm a basketball guy. I played basketball growing up. And I remember Coach Brian Gregory, when I was in the 6th grade, teaching me, hey, stare at his belly button. He may give you a shoulder shake, head shake. His arms may be flailing, but he's not going to go anywhere without his core, without his belly button. And so that's going to be our next point. And then our S is actually post-snap, and that's a mentality. We want to strike. And so when I strike, we see on Saturdays and Sundays all the time, even guys that are pressing, a one-hand strike, locking my hips right now. And then, it's almost a press bell exclusively, whether we're in press man or what I'm talking about today with press quarters. I really don't want that. I want two hands because I think two is better than one. We talk about being really simple in the coaching world, and that's one of the things that we've simplified, so to speak, is, guys, we're always going to get a hard and a heavier strike with two hands. So let's use two hands. So those are just some of the corner teaching points. As I go through this, like I said, I'm going to go through these drills fairly quickly. But I do want to hit on those, on that stuff as we go through this as well. So let's move on to safeties here. We're at a 10, 15-yard depth, depending on the situation and abilities. I talk about Friday night abilities quite a bit with our guys. You know who you are. So trust your judgment, trust your ability, and then play ball. So we've got a hash rule that you'll hear a lot during this presentation. We won't want to be 2 yards inside or outside the hash. So depending on where the ball is placed, we're still going to abide by that hash rule as long as we're in a too high shell. And that's something that it helps our kids, with landmarks and whatnot. So that's something that you can kind of teach your kids. We're always going to disguise as long as possible. So now I'm going to talk about some cover down stuff here as well, whether we're blitzing or just rolling into a coverage, a cover 3 concept, or a lot of times we'll even do it in a cover 1 look. We're going to disguise it as long as possible. And one quick story there. I was talking to Coach Mike Gundy, Oklahoma State, a couple of years ago. He's recruiting one of my corners. And Coach Gundy was phenomenal. We got a 45-minute conversation, just the two of us, and I lucked out. And one of the things I asked him is, we're really working on disguising our coverages, Coach. And can you tell me something that really the quarterback struggle with, being a quarterback guy? And, of course, I'm trying to think complex and wide variety of things, and honestly trying to impress Coach Gundy, to be completely honest with you. Coach Gundy said, well, what's the one thing that the quarterback has to do nowadays because everybody's in gun? And, of course, I'm like, well, he's got to read 1 high, 2 high. And I'm, again, trying to be way, way complex. And he kind of snickers a little bit. And he said, well, Coach Harvey, you're missing a really important part of the game. And I said, okay, what is it, Coach? You got me. He's got to catch the snap. And, man, I mean, that's simple but profound. He's got to catch the snap. So in the gun age, and we're all in it, they've got to look back down to catch the snap. If I can disguise as long as possible, show 1 high, scroll down, vice versa, whatever I'm looking at, maybe even go to a 3 high now that's kind of hit the scene, that's what I want to do. So that's something that we've taught, that we've actually drilled, and I'll go over that here in a little bit as well. So that's something that we want to do. Our safeties do have a pass-first responsibility for obvious reasons. They're the last line of defense, but we still want, as you see on that last point there, we want to be an alley runner, and we want to be a secondary force player. So we do require our safeties to play in a wide variety of ways, and we still want to be in there involved in the run. You got to stop the run to win football games. And then we're going to read ball to wide receiver. So I'll talk a little bit about reads here as we get on with the conversation and moving forward. Before I move on, Coach Samuels, if there is any questions and they want to jot those into the chat, dude, you interrupt me, my man.
Gotcha.
Okay. All right. So everyday drills. Monday, Tuesday, we're going to tackle. I know that I put that last, and it is certainly not last unless we're saving the best for last. I'm a tackling dude, and I believe in it. I think it's huge. I think it's important. We're going to zone day one day. We're going to man day the other. And we're going to work on ball skills because, I tell guys a lot that I love good plays. A good play is a PBU, obviously a good tackle. A great play is a turnover, whether that's fumbles, whether that's interceptions. we're going to work it all. So that's kind of how we break that down. And obviously that will fluctuate in season. Spring ball, that's kind of what we're going to stick to, but we're going to do some different things on all 3 days just to incorporate all of those things into our game. All right, so again, I'm going to run through these fairly quickly. Guys, this is all stuff you do. This is not groundbreaking by any stretch. I don't consider myself a guru. I really don't. I've just learned some really good ball from some really good coaches at Steele High School before. At middle school, man, I learned a ton there when I was coaching middle school at San Antonio Academy. And so I don't know, I've just picked some of the stuff along the way. So we're going to pedal with the late turn. One of the things that I want to teach here really is to stay square, with my safeties. Corners, you're going to see back pedal here. We don't back pedal a whole lot unless we're doing the inch back technique, kind of like some of these college coaches have taught with their man press. So we just really want to see how we can stay square. I like this going horizontal because you can give them great landmarks. You got the 20 and the 15-yard line here just to show how important it is to stay square on your line. So that's your pedal with the late turn. Then we're going to go with the quick turn. So again, we talked about quick game early on in this talk. With the quick game stuff, I want to get out of my break now. So one of the things, obviously we all ask, what's the cover 2 beater? What hurts you in your coverages? One of the things that does hurt us is that turkey hole throw, side pocket throw. So we want to get out right now. With the same thing, I want to read front shoulder. And so in our reads, we want to read that front shoulder of the quarterback and not bail too quickly, not get off our hash too quickly, going back to our hash rule. We want to hug that hash as long as we can, but we also want to make sure that we're turning quickly. So you can see the second rep here a little better. You see the quick turn there, right? So again, just getting them to read me, make it a little bit more like games, like situation. One of the things that I wanted to teach here too, you can see the kid on the left turns his head a little quickly. Always see the ball, right? So we never want eyes in the backfield. Guy on the right does a good job. Kid on the right does a really good job seeing the ball as he turns. I want to make sure that I know where the most important thing on the field is. And guys, I tell my kids, last time I checked, this game is called football, right? So we don't want eyes in the backfield. By all means, that's what any DB coach in the country that has a pulse is going to teach his kids. But the most important thing on the field is still the football, and don't forget that. So those are just some of the drills that we do there. Here's some corner stuff with the safety. Pedal and a hip roll. So we'll work on some hip flexibility and fluidity. And so you'll see here, and we've actually changed this up a little bit. Right now, I do want to lock hips, right? So just lock hips with the safeties, and you see the corners are now shuffling, right? So they're starting in the shuffle drill. So we'll actually start squared up. But if you want to, and you're not a press team, you want to shuffle them out, again, this is all 4 of them working. I like the safety drill there just to work on the hip fluidity. Bingo. All right, and then we're going to come back with the squared weave. So we've actually widened this from what you'll see on the screen. And so what we've done now is we widen it. So we'll go back to my 2 and 3 yard rule. I want those guys actually coming this wide now. It's just that's 1 yard. I want them to come in wide now on these weaves, but staying square to the line of scrimmage, if that makes sense. And you'll see what I'm talking about here. They just kind of straddle this line, but I want them to widen to really work on sticking that foot and getting there. Guy on the right doesn't do a very good job of staying square. He opens up his hips a little bit, but the guy on the left is really good. That's what I want right there. Again, just a little bit of a wider weave, though, if that makes sense to you guys. That's one of the things that kind of helped us with our safeties, and then our corners are still shuffling now. All right, so stick, foot, run, read, everybody does. I'm just going to show you one time and then roll through it. I'm not teaching bicycle step. I'm not teaching T-step. You, be a football player, get there as fast as you can with no false steps, period. I'm not teaching robots. You do you. All right, 45-degree angle. All of this is just coming back down the line. You guys do all this. This is a drill that I decided to do myself, and some guys have decided to steal it. So please, by all means, here's what I'm doing. I'm lining up in our stuff. I'm going from A to Z in every coverage that we have installed, and all I'm doing right now is I'm telling them a situation. Okay, and so I want these guys to disguise, as I talked about earlier with my conversation with Mike Gundy. This is when I decided to start this drill. So now you can see this is our press palms look. Now you can see a pure step, and you'll see some of those drills here in just a second. Pure step from our corners. We're staying square. I'd like for this corner down here to our side to shoot his hands a little bit more, but that's okay. Just a couple of steps. That's all I need. And really it's a communication thing. Let's get in the right coverage and let's roll. All right, here's the next coverage. So you'll see a little bit different look. Boom, we got a man turn here. So we're in split coverage concepts, right? We're actually we're in our quarters, our press quarters look. So it looks like man on the outside, and we're still zoning up. A little different. All right, so I fast forward it, next coverage. So here they are communicating, talking to each other, pointing, using hand signals. Now it's sky 3. So this is one of our cover down looks. Got a poacher from the backside, get back to where you're going. Kind of gives them, this is a pre-practice drill, by the way. Here's a little off coverage. All right, another quarters concept from off. Okay, so again, you kind of get the idea, but that's something that's been really, really good for us. We just call it communication drill. No groundbreaking information here, fellas. Just something that's worked for me. All right, I'm going to move on here. Here you go. And this is what I want you to see in communication. We're actually not lined up quick enough in this deal. I don't really like how slow we are in lining up. But what I do like, the kid that I circle here, watch him talk. He's talking right now. And then the ball is snapped. Again, I don't like our alignment, but he knows what we're in, and so he's able to make a quick play. Do they gain yards? Yes. 3 yards, I'll take it all day. I'll take it all day, even on 1st and 10. 2nd and 7 is a good down and distance for us. Good job by that guy. So, again, he knows what he's doing. He's trying to communicate. Ball is snapped quickly because we're not lined up like I want to be, but he's still able to play really fast because he's thinking through the game, and that's part of the communication. Just wanted to point that out real quick. All right, so here's some more drills. Mirror drill, inside out release. Again, I'm going to run through this quickly. This is a great deal for your pure step, whatever you want to call it. So this is how we do this with our corners, and we're teaching patience right now. One of the things that I talked about at AFCA, if you were able to catch that talk on the skills and drills session, is we could use a lay down right here as well. That way you can really make sure that they're not lunging. So that's a big point in pressure. In coaching pressure, you cannot lunge for obvious reasons. And I'm always asked the question, how do you get these kids not to lunge? Well, this is what we do. We just rep the mess out of it. All right, so you'll see several different kids doing it here. There's another nice job right there. Just being patient. Again, it all starts with the feet. I don't want to put hands behind my back because, as I said in the beginning, we're getting ready to strike. You know what I'm saying? So BCS right now, if he crosses the river, which the river's the 25-yard line right now, I'm about to strike him. I'm about to let him know you're in my territory now, and we're about to roll. All right, so now we're going to switch leverage. So you can notice he's on the outside portion of the kid, right? So I'm going to give them fluidity. They can go inside or outside, but no more than half a step. So you can see right now his end step is end up on the point step of the wide receiver. Okay, so I know that I can let him go inside right now. I'm worried about a 9 route. Again, same look. Same exact look. No different. Here's the next rep. Again, outside leverage just slightly. Doesn't change up a whole lot. Being patient. You guys get the idea. There's another one. Good rep. All right. So, again, we talk about T-step. This is actually our T-step. I called it a pure step, and that's what it is. Sorry. It'll show up here in a second. There it is right there. So what we'll do is we'll line our corners up. This is just corners, and you can kind of see what they're doing here. Just T-stepping and then getting out, right? So just keeping that 1 foot planted, stepping, and then getting out. Here's a little trail. So you saw both of those slides, and there was a little off there. I apologize. Right now, so that's more of a man concept. We're just reading hip. One of the things I want to point out, we see all the time, and I've had several conversations with kids that that get different trainings and different philosophies. But one of the things that I'm going to teach is I want to drive the hip. So we see a lot of kids trying to drive shoulders here in man coverage, right, in our press concepts. I think we can drive the hip much better, just again, my personal philosophy. So I'm actually going to get my hands on the hip as I'm reading the hip. Another thing that helps is that's 1 point of contact, right, and 1 point that I'm staring at. So I'm not worried about what the shoulders are doing. Right now I'm staring at the hip. So we're thinking about comeback routes, back shoulder fades, all that stuff when we're working this rep. Good job just chomping down as he chops down, all right? So zone turn with 2 hands, right? The 2-yard landmark, all that stuff, you're going to see that coming up here. So right now, we've flipped it, okay? Here's your number 1 receiver. I'm going to get these guys out of the way here so we can see it. And we're again, teaching that patient stuff, but now we're going to add a hand jab with the 2-hand strike. Boom, right there. Good rep. It's a good rep. So, again, be patient. Don't step into his world. Let him step into yours. Once he does, strike him with 2. You can see there's a 2-hand strike. I'm still not opening up. Now he's 2 yards beyond where he started. Okay, so it's 2 yards is beyond his point. Now I'm going to zone turn. I'm going to stare back, read number 2 to the football. There's our drill right there. Again, now we're gonna turn it and go vertically. So give them landmarks, show them what it looks like. 2-hand strike, open up, push him inside, in, back or help. You guys get the idea. Run through this. All right, here we go. Get into some film a little bit here. I'm gonna rewind this all the way. Okay, so let me get to the point where I want to get. All right, right now, down here at the boundary. So you can see this cat right here, going back to my very beginning of my talk, talking about alignment. That is a 6-inch alignment. This guy up here is a little further back than what I normally would like, but that's okay. He's to the field. Give yourself some room. Again, I'm not teaching robots, but I like this alignment right here. Okay, we're at the 50-yard line is the line of scrimmage. We're at 11 here on both sides. I'm good with everything. They're still abiding by the 2 to 3 yard hash rule. We're good. All right, so I love this. Now, this is play 30 of this ball game. And so we've already tried to establish who we are. We are going to press your tail all night. Now, guys, I'm in Texas, okay? And so a lot of guys, well, yeah, it's easy to press when you got cats. I have cats. I've always had cats at Steele High School. I'm a very blessed coach. And these guys, this guy would be a 5-star in a dumpster, fellas. That's Caden Stearns, University of Texas. This guy is a dude. He's now at UTSA, was signed with Oklahoma State and then transferred. Baylor and now Texas A&M, who was a sophomore, by the way. But this is the state semifinal in the state of Texas. And again, we can argue who's got the greatest football. You guys are all ball coaches. And that's not what I'm here to do. But it is relative. And so I've got dudes, but we're also playing dudes. These guys are dudes. You'll see in a minute with Austin Westlake, where Drew Brees and Nick Foles played, and then Baker Mayfield's alma mater and Lake Travis. We play dudes all the time too. So it's all relative, guys. If you teach it, they'll learn it. Kids are going to learn what you teach. I just believe in that. All right, so we are trying to set the tone. Going back to what I was saying. We've said it right now. So, Coach, where are the hands-on? You talk about press and getting hands-on, yeah. But remember, the 2-yard rule. He's released inside, and now he's on my side of the river. But I'm not worried about him. Here's what I want. Without even touching, we want toe to heel, and I've won. Now watch the progression. This is where our press palms comes into play. All right, I'm going to freeze it right there, dadgummit. I had it frozen, and I kept going. My fault. 1 second. Boom, right there. Okay. So here's where I teach right here. And this is maybe where some of the questions might come in, and we can answer them here in a little while. All right, there's 5 yards beyond the line of scrimmage. My progression for the corner right now, this is where his zone begins. Well, what if they throw a swing? What if they throw a shoot route? I'm okay with that. Rally and be a great tackler in the open field. Going back to our EDDs, we tackle every chance we get on Mondays and Tuesdays, and then ball drills are ball drills. Let's focus on getting turnovers, okay? So we're going to tackle a lot. But right now is where my zone begins. My zone will end 15 yards beyond the beginning of my zone as a quarter. As a corner, I know I've got help over the top. We're in a 2-high shell. I got safety help. So I'm good. Okay, so you can see right now he has begun his zone, and now he's going to sink underneath and make a heck of a play. Now, again, is he a cat? Yes, he is. This is the state semifinals. What an excellent play this kid makes. Right now, he's baited him. So he's got 2 guys covered. He's got him covered, and he's got him covered. I would even venture to tell you that if he sticks foot right here, if he's got good posture, he may break on that ball right there and either get a PBU or a pick as well. All right, they decided to throw the shake route thinking that we're going to jump that. Steele is a cover 2 team. They're going to jump this shake route, this out route. We're going to hit the shake route, and there he goes, sinking underneath it. It's a big coaching point. If we can get hands-on and then sink, and, of course, he didn't get hands-on because of the inside release there, we're in good shape. He takes it back to the house. What a great play from that kid. All right, so is it a run-stopping coverage? Absolutely. Boundary corner. Okay, Austin Westlake, by the way, Drew Brees, Nick Foles, a factory of football. They just won it all in the state of Texas this past year, and they beat us in the round 1. Great football team. This kid actually gets beat early on. You can see it. But watch him battle. This is the mentality that I teach, all right? We want to fight. All right, so the first thing we want is shock and shed. We all teach it, shock, shed. If I miss that shock and I get shocked, and he does right here, again, because of the relativity of the state of Texas, he gets whipped on the first couple of seconds of this play, but he does not give up, and then he sheds, and watch the play that he makes. Right here, this is a run, stop, and coverage. Right there, he got beat. Okay, I'm good. There it is. So hopefully you guys are seeing this, right? He gets beat off the bat. And then wham, he is a sophomore right here this year, guys. That is not a five-star senior. Is he a five-star now? Yes, he is. Going to the Texas A&M University. He's a dude. But I love what he does here. Great job by the linebacker. Linebacker takes quarterback. We are the pitch man, force flat, and he gets a huge play. All right, there's your relativity right here, number 25, University of Wisconsin. I mean, again, we're going to do what we do, and we believe in it. So great job there. Moving on. Again, here's Lake Travis. So talk about relativity. Ohio State. He's playing quarterback at the University of Texas. Texas and Baylor up here. Ohio State, Arkansas. These guys are going everywhere. We're still going to do what we do. That's a sophomore up top to the boundary. All right, here we go. Great job. Don't cross the river. He almost locks his hip a little bit too soon. You see the inside step come forward. I would rather see a pure step, but that's okay. He doesn't cross the river. Great job opening up right there. Gets two hands on, and then he sinks underneath the route. Okay, a question was asked the other day. It was a really good question. Well, Coach, what if it's a better throw? It's an underthrown ball. Yes, it is. I get that, but watch where the safety is. Safety should make a play if it's a better throw. I've got 3/2 right now with my backer and my corner and my safety. I'm in good shape. I want to build this triangle right here. I'm going to pause it right now. There's your triangle. Now, he's already made the dive, but I want to build that triangle over one receiver, and I'm in good shape. It's a good play by that young man right there. Again, he was a sophomore that year. All right, so we talked about trap earlier. You're going to see some trap from off. Here's our trap from press. So we're not into our cover down stuff, but we will do a lot of cover down to empty. We'll do a lot of cover down to 3-by-1. They actually motion to empty. There's a nub down here to the boundary, okay? And so we call trap here, but I call it from a press look. So this is what that looks like for those of you that want to run some of this. It has really been a good thing for us the last 2.5 years. He just jumps inside right now, and the receiver's already thinking about, okay, how am I going to block this guy? Even a stock block, guys, I'm convinced a stock block is extremely difficult against press coverage. I mean, I don't know what exactly you receiver coaches are teaching in the stock block, if there's any receiver coaches in here, but they want to just impede, you know what I'm saying? So they want to get in between that defender and the football, or where the football is going to end up. Well, if I'm pressing him, as long as I don't cross the river and break those rules, I'm still going to make that extremely difficult for him. Well, now I'm going to jump inside because I got help over the top. So you can see a left foot of this cat right here on the right hand of your screen, and you'll see him getting over the top of number 1 in case he releases. Well, number 1 is already lost right now. So we jump inside. That takes away some of those bubbles. So if you buy into this press thing and now all of a sudden want a little bit of a switch up, that is a great switch up for you. That's worked for us over the last couple of years, as I mentioned. If you have any questions on that, I'll be willing to talk about it. Okay, this is something I wanted to point out. Our film kind of messes up, but I wanted to circle him on the wide and then show you what happens on the tight. So you can see right now he's kind of more in a catch position. So we're not pressing. Okay, he's in a catch position, but I've talked about mentality quite a bit throughout my talk here. This is the mentality of a press football team. Coach Samuels and I were talking about this before this thing went live here on Zoom just a few minutes ago. Watch the mentality of this kid and then watch the leverage that he keeps. It's a great job. Okay, he's an underclassman right now. Let me go ahead and fast forward it to the now you can watch him. He'll come off here in a second. There he is. Watch the mentality. Strike, again, two-hand strike, shedding, keep outside, get involved on the tackle. He's got an assist. I'm not sure that our backer makes the tackle there without the help of that corner. I love what he does here. I love the mentality. Strike, shed, and boom. Keep your outside leverage. It's a great job. So, again, that's the mentality that we have taught because we're a press coverage team. So if you want to play some catch later on, you can mix it up. All right. Again, here's just a good example of patience and physicality. This is not real physical. So this cat right here, the receiver, is at the University of Georgia. and he ran a 20, low 20 in the 200. Can absolutely fly. We're still pressing him. I want you to watch his release, and this is why I believe this is not a great play, guys. This is just something that I wanted to show and why I believe what I believe and why we press. Watch the stutter right now. I mean, that's what we want. Now, he's the one running the route, guys. And so, again, this is play 123. We've been in his grill all night long, and he's just slow in his route. So he's trying to run a slant. They're not reading anything. This is there's no mesh. This is not an RPO. He's trying to run a quick slant. This takes away the quick game. And, again, he's right there. We're in his grill. Watch the body language after. Watch our body language. That kid's 6'4". Our kid's 5'11". We're not going to bow down to anyone. That is our mentality. Just had to put that in there because that's a testament to our kids. They're not afraid, and I love it. So, safety reading the block, all right, from the wide receiver. Going back to drills for a second, if you'll bear with me, because I want to show this, and I think this is something that that has helped us, and it can help you. Right now, I've got an imaginary corner. As you can see, these are corners servicing safeties. And that's one of the things we preach at DB High School. That's what our kids have deemed ourselves, and I love it. You know, the whole battle of DBU. Is it Texas? Is it Ohio State? Is it LSU? Our kids said, you know what, Coach? We're DB High School, and I love that. I love that mentality. That's a culture thing that our kids have bought into. And so our corners are servicing our safety. So you can see right now I'm giving them a 1 or a 2, and 1 would tell those guys to release into a 9 route. A 2 tells them to stop block. And all I'm wanting my safety to do is read our keys. So I'm reading ball to number 1, that's the number 1 receiver out there. He reads it. He's a little slow. Look, few false steps there. I don't want those false steps right there. I don't want that. Think faster, man. Think faster. You don't have a corner, so it's a little bit more difficult. You're afraid of getting beat on the 9 route, but we still got to play faster than that. Okay, so again, that cat right there that's doing those false steps is one of the most well-coached kids that came into my area because he was a quarterback and knows the game of football. He's at SMU right now, and I love him to death. He'll stare a hole right through you. And the reason why he became a great safety is because he's well coached as a quarterback. And so, again, we want to make sure that we're playing fast. So you get the idea of that. And then I'm going to progress. Now I'm going to go ahead and help you out. I'm going to add a quarter. So we're going to add a corner. We still got our corner servicing us. And there's your press palms. Look, I want 2 hands on that jab. That's a one-handed jab. Again, you can see it on the shoulder. We've corrected some of that stuff. We want to go 2 hands, and I want to get a hand on the hip and drive him. Okay, but now it helps the safety play a little bit faster. You got a corner help. So just another drill that we've done that's kind of helped us. We're going to change coverages. You guys get the idea. All right, so back to the film here. This is one of the things where as the safety, it really helps us. So, again, I'm going to talk about some cover down stuff here in a little bit. What time am I got here? Okay, we're good. Got about 17 minutes according to my clock. Am I right, Coach Samuels?
Yep, you're good.
Okay, buddy. All right, so I want to read number 1 to the ball, okay? So we talk about reads after that drill that I just showed you. This safety right here, a lot of times we're going to run a poach concept, whether we're in cover down stuff. It can be cloud, it can be sky, it can be a number of things. We're playing off, and I honestly don't know why. It may have been a game plan thing. This was 2016, so this has been a few years ago. But I want you to watch the top. I love what this young man does here. And this is a good receiver. He almost locks his hips, but then realizes, oh, shoot, I've got help over the top. We're in palms to the one receiver side. And again, this is a team that we felt like we could get into this with. See that right there? Boom. He almost locks his hips to a man turn. Because, again, a lot of times in 3-by-1, we're playing solo up there to the boundary right now. Okay, but then he flips. He's got help over the top, and what a play by that safety. Unbelievable. But, again, we're reading with that safety right now. Here's one thing I want to point out. I tell my guys all the time, do your job. Never expect somebody else to do your job, and never accept anyone else to do your job. The corner really makes this play. I mean, obviously the safety makes a heck of a play himself. But the corner, by impeding that guy's progress right now, there's 2 hands on. He didn't really reroute him as much as he could have, but he forced him wider. We talk about it all the time. Get your guy out to that extra defender, that sideline. And then here comes the safety making a fantastic play. I love it. Guys, I got to point it out, man. I got emotional the other day on a stinking Zoom because watch our kids get excited. And number 3 is leading the pep rally. He didn't even get the interception. He's leading the pep rally because of the play that he made on the line of scrimmage 5 seconds before the excellent play that the safety makes. It's a mentality. It's a flat-out mentality. All right. So, again, here's that press look. This is DeSoto. What a great team this is. Great program. I think Coach Padron may be even dialing in and tuning in onto this thing. So, Coach, appreciate you, man. So, here again, just this guy didn't go anywhere, guys. He's not a college football player. We're pressing. They had 27 Division I guys on this football team in 2016. They put us in the state championship. We're not going to get out of it. I love what he does here. All right. So, again, press mentality. We're trapping. Now, watch what he does to number 2. You talk about 2 read. We're reading a stock right now. We're reading a stock. Get your outside free. Stock outside free. So be a smart football player, and then when you get there, be a great tackler. Be physical. So, again, if he takes on this block like we normally would teach, okay, if he tries to strike this guy, he's not being a smart football player. But instead, he just dips the shoulder, and now he makes him look like he's out of position. And he was, because we got a play, made a play. Great job. Again, it's all about mentality. What you teach, what those kids buy into. Okay, so this team here was a triple option team, and they come out and spread on one of the first – this may have been the first play from scrimmage that they had. I think we had a long drive to score on them to start the game. And so they come out, and they're trying to run a bait. So you'll see a slant and go here. It's almost like a fade and go here. So they'll look like they're going to stock us and then send us over. Watch the safety up top to the boundary. Great job here. This is our hug and our hash concept. Okay, it's an inside release from number 2. He does a great job staying, and then he sees that release. So he just gets over the top and goes and picks it. Not a great throw here, but again, those guys are a triple option team, and we make a nice play on the ball to pick it off. It's a good job right there by that safety. Again, not just doing his job, not falling asleep, and making a play. All right, so we talked about it being a run-stopping defense. Here it is from the roof. Excuse me, I'm going to get a drink. So from the roof, you see this young man down here to the field. Read his keys. He takes a few false steps here. But, again, this is a run-stopping defense from all 11 positions on the field. All right, I'm not sure why we're belling out down here, but it's okay. He's to the field. I'm not going to coach back, guys that to be run robots, But the guy from the top, and a good job long arm in there with that defensive end. Good job keeping the outside free from the backer, and that allows my safety to fit the alley. Okay, so this is a great job here all around. All 11 guys running to the ball. Safety makes a solo play because he just continues to stay in his gap. He trusts his job, right? Never expect it, never accept it. And that's a great example of that for a 3-yard game, maybe not even that, 2-yard game. Great job. It's a run-stopping defense as well. Probably one of my favorite plays in all of my time at Steele High School right here. So you can see this is our cover down concept now, all right? We're in a too-high shell look. A lot of times, and we used to do this before, and we kind of switched it up just a few years ago where we're going to show that too high as much as we possibly can. To a nub, it makes sense that we would go ahead and cover down over here whether we're sending pressure or not. So he's going to just disguise as much as he can. Okay, he's going to disguise as much as he can from the roof, and then he'll come down late. So you can just kind of watch his progression here, watch his reads. His eyes are everywhere. He's going to read 1 to 2 to ball, and I'll talk about lane of ball in just a second. 1 to 2 to ball back, and there he is again. You can just see his head. We call it swivel head. Wham, 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 looking everywhere. And right now he knows exactly what they're going to do. Picks it off. Now, some of you may be thinking right now, well, coach, you're beat. What if they throw a sluggo? I've got a poacher on the backside. So this is a great changeup. So a lot of us are Rip Liz guys, or we want to study Rip Liz. Very similar to Rip Liz right here. Okay, so I've got a poacher here to take that away. Does he have a long way to run if they throw that ball to the hash? Yes, but that ball is already halfway to its destination, and we have read it and broken on it. So what's going to happen if this guy doesn't break on the ball, which he just does a good job seeing the ball, he's going to play outside leverage. I've got a poacher here, and I've got this guy coming down to play force flat now. So there's our cover down. There's our cover down from a too-high look. It looks like palms. We're gonna almost flat foot read, almost a scoot technique right there. He just scooches it, scooch, 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 stick, and he takes it to the house because of a pick six. We're off and running. It was a great job. All right. Again, so this is a good job here. We're playing off to the field. Okay, so watch the leveraging here right now. Good job by the safety. All right, good job by the safety and block. Just eluding that block right now. Watch the leverage kept by the corner here. He wants to get outside, but he forces him to stop his feet because of his outside leverage. If this guy's hooked right now, then they can push us inside, and I think he still makes the play because he's that good of a dude, an athlete. But right now, we keep that outside leverage, force him to stop his feet, and now an open field tackle possibility. There he is. Another good job. Now we got third down and manageable. It's about 3rd and 5. All right. Love it. Do your job every single time. All right. So a lot of guys ask what happens with too hot. RPO. This is a good RPO team. This team's a good football team. I'm okay with a 4 to 5 yard gain. We're going to keep everything in front of us. I'm not sure there are many offensive coordinators out there that are as patient as you need to be to dip and dump the ball down the field like this play right here. So there you go, offensive coordinators. I think you're going to take a shot. So we're going to allow this to happen, and then we may switch up the coverage. If you're going to run it five times in a row, I'm not going to continue to stay in the same coverage. But we'll play, palms to this, and I've got 2 guys coming right now. Now, again, if you notice, it's play 22, but we're on him, and we're going to set the tone. This is a great tackle. Love the finish right here, corner and safety, finishing it. Again, I'm okay with that. We'll take that. And if we need to trap it, we'll trap it. If we want to go quarters, we can go quarters. If we want to go cover 1 or 0. All right? So we're okay with that, even in our palms look. We'll give that up. All right, so one of my last drills here, and then we'll get into some questions. Railroad drill. So this is something that's been really good for us as well. So another thing, one of the questions, what's our cover 2 beaters? How do the offenses hurt us? 4 verts is something that hurts everyone, right? And so we've kind of come up with this technique. It was before me and Steele, and I love it. So we've repped it quite a bit. This is not an everyday drill. This is something that if we're struggling with this, if we're struggling to defend these type of routes, we'll work this drill. So I line up a safety on one side. All right, so this would be an equivalent to number 2 receiver. And there's our hash. He's on the hash, number 2 receiver. Here's your number 2 receiver over on the other side. If he were to push into and over my divider, okay, now I'm going to railroad those 2. So if I got 2 vertical routes, I want to stay between the 2. And again, right there's your landmark. So what I want to do is stay as square as possible. And then they're kind of jogging right now because I had them working out for about an hour up to this point. So I probably should run this first. So this is it's something you can go the full width of the field, your full 53 1/3 yards. All right. But what we want to do is turn whenever the guy that's ahead of the other guy gets to me, nothing behind me, just like everybody, nothing behind me. I'm going to turn towards him and then either force that throw the other way, which is a long time. So we're expecting pressure, possibly a scramble drill. But the longer I can stay at that divider in between those 2, the better off I am. That's just something that's worked for us. All right. And so here it is in game film situation. This is an empty play. Again, this is DeSoto back in 2015, I believe this was. Good job by railroading by both of these guys. This is the corner. We're going to cover down. This is the corner, and here's the safety. We railroad these 2 guys with the corner and these 2 guys with the safety. He's my deepest guy, so you notice that both of them are locked into the deepest guy. That's where the ball's going, and we force an overthrow. Corner almost picks it. But that's a good job just showing that rep that's worked for us. Again, we're covering down, so we're running a Sky 3 concept. Our poacher on the backside at the top here to the boundary, he's got to be a little slow because it's 4 verts, or really 3 verts. 2 of them cut their routes, but you get the idea. Okay, so that's something that's worked for us as well. Coach, let me put my – I want to put my dadgummit. I'm going to put my contact information on here.
Yeah, I think I got a slide for that.
Okay, cool. I'll wait on you if you got it.
Yeah. Give me 1 second.
Here, you want me to stop share?
I think I can take it from you.
Okay, cool.
Maybe I don't have it right here. Easy to find.
Oh, good, man. I can type it up.
Yeah,
Here.
I got it.
You got it?
Yep. I just got to share.
Okay. Sorry, I probably should have talked about that beforehand. My fault.
Oh, no, you're good. I had it up for every other guy and didn't need it, so.
I got you.
I
I could have put it in, but all these bots, man, I ain't gonna lie, I was a little nervous about it. I don't want anybody having my cell phone. I don't mind giving my cell phone out either, Coach.
I hear you.
There we go.
Everybody see it?
Perfect. You the man.
There it is. That's how to get a hold of Coach Harvey. Hey, so my one question for you: what, route concepts, 3x1 route concepts? What gives you the most issue? I think when T. Overman was talking earlier this week, he talked about sail concept where 1 and 2 are vertical, and then you kind of got like a banana route or a deep out by number 3. What have you seen that kind of gives your guys the most issues?
Yeah, so something similar to that. If 1 and 2 are pushing vertical, and then a bender from 3. If we're going to stay in palms, so if we're doing our cover down, our 3x1 checks, then our poacher is going to take that, and it's not that big a deal. But then another thing is if number 2, after they run that bender with 3 and kind of occupy the opposite hash, number 2 running a post behind him, man, a lot of young guys have a tendency to chase that crosser, and then we get beat on the post. And so that's been something that we've had to really, be patient with, particularly with our safeties. I really like a cloud concept where our corners are going to stay down instead of running a cover down from the roof, just because it just helps us see it a little bit better if teams are doing that a lot. But, one of the other things that we'll do is just kind of match it. And so we'll play kind of a quarters concept to a 3x1 where, number 1 will take first thing out. If he pushes vertical, then he'll take him in a mod concept. And then 2 will be on the play side safety. 3 will be the backside safety. Any undercrossers, we're just going to zone off with the linebackers and then play solo on the backside. So, that's helped us, mix, special, some people call it, has been good for us as well. So, yeah, there's just some different things that we've run in relation to those things, depending on what's hurting us.
What percentage would you say you send the play call in? What percent are you in palms or quarters or a cover 3 variation? Do you have a kind of ballpark figure in your head where you guys are as a defense?
Yeah. So actually, in my self scouting in the off season, I can give you the most recent. We were in palms 62% of the time. And then whether it's quarters or other variations, we were in other things. Now, when we're doing our zone blitz stuff, we rarely run palms. There are some blitzes that we run that we can stay in it, but most of that's going to be a cover down to replace a removing linebacker. We're kind of old school 4-3 in our base, and so we'll do some 3-down stuff. Obviously, everybody's got to be multiple nowadays. But if we're in our 4-3, then we'll mix some things up, but a lot of that's mostly cover down stuff. If we're sending the zone pressure, we don't do a whole lot of sims and creepers. We're mostly just a zone team, but we'll do some of that stuff too with some sims but we're mostly covered down just because palms is pretty soft when it comes to that, particularly in the middle of the field where the hot routes are going to happen.
Let me see this. All right, from we got a question here. Trips nub with a poacher tied to the 3 receiver side. Corner has force to the nub and vertical release with the tight end.
Correct.
He reads single side wide receiver, single side to the 3 receiver side. Does that make any sense to you? Can you see the chat?
Yeah, hang on one second. Let me pull that chat up. Perfect. Let me pull that sucker up and move it over. Okay, so trips nub, poacher tied to the 3 receiver side. Yes, corner has force to the nub. That is correct. Vertical release with the tight end is the question, and then the strong side say, hey, let's go question by question. So yes, the poacher is gonna stare down 3-2. Okay, to the trip side. On the nub side, corner is going to play force. So it's almost, we have a nub rule. We're going to have force from the corner, and then anything up in vertical should be rerouted by the linebacker. Also, our defensive end should be getting hands onto that. But that poacher is still going to check backside. So, even though we're poaching, we're playing middle third. We're not necessarily keying in right now on 3 to cover him unless he pushes into our zone, if that makes sense to you. And then the strong side safety, if we're covering down with the sky concept, he's actually going to key number 2 instead of number 3. If we're running a buzz concept, what the question that you have there now will key in on number 3. Does that answer your question, Coach?
I just unmuted you, Coach. That you good with that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
And then the other thing I was kind of thinking, Adam, is what percentage would you say you guys are pressing? Like, is that an 80% deal? Is that what is that for you?
Yeah, that was not part of my self scout. That's a good question, man. But yeah, shoot, I had some of the. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
If you had to guess, what would you put it at?
90.
Nice.
Yeah, man. I'm not messing around, bro. Yeah. I tell you what, man, and this is not a knock on anybody on Saturdays and Sundays, but I get really, really weary, and I'm a Big 12 guy because that's where I live. I get weary of watching, man, off coverage and then just quick game after quick game after quick game. I don't want that, man. I would rather give up a 9 route than to watch that junk all day, because 9 routes are very difficult to complete. In my opinion, if you're playing from a too high shell. They just are. I think it's a lower percentage throw than just snapping and throwing out there right now. That's my philosophy, guys. I'm not saying it's gold or gospel or anything like that, but that's what I believe.
All right. Thanks a lot for joining us, Adam. We'll get this up here in the next hour or two. You can look forward to seeing it on Football Scoop, but appreciate you hopping on as a friend, as a fellow coach, man. Appreciate you taking the time to share with the rest of us.
Enjoyed it as always, Doug. Appreciate what y'all do at Football Scoop, man. I'm addicted. I got the notifications on, and of course, the first thing I do is scroll down to see if it's my guy that's giving the stuff. Now, you guys do a fantastic job, all 3 of you. So really appreciate you and Scott and allowing me to come on and contacting me for doing this. And y'all keep it up, man. You guys do a great job.
Thanks, man. We'll talk soon, Adam.
All right, buddy.
Later.